Hey, welcome everyone. This is Forte Maestro, and we are here to teach you class M402, how to transcribe ABC music with Maestro. And so this is going to be a brief instruction, and we're going to go into some further, more in-depth instruction on further classes, but this is for those of you who have never used Maestro, wants help on trying to set it up, and all that fun stuff. So we're going to kind of dive directly into it. So Maestro, for those of you who don't know, is a program that allows you to open up MIDI files, ABC files, karaoke files, and to be able to take those tracks of music and be able to convert them, transcribe them into what's called ABC file by assigning instruments to them, like LOTRO instruments to them, to the different tracks and all that. So we're going to kind of go into those details a little bit later. But first question is, how do you find Maestro? Where do you get Maestro? Well, Maestro has an actual Discord where you can ask questions, communicate with other people in the community and all that stuff. And if you actually go up into onto our homepage here, and on the bottom right, if you scroll down, you'll see where it shows the Maestro, and you can be able to join the Maestro Discord channel. You can also join Forte's Academy of Music. So you can either go there, or if you go up into at the top of the Academy website, click on links, scroll down right here to programs, you have Maestro. So this is going to take you to a Google Drive, where the latest updates of Maestro will be available, and so you can just literally just double click it. It's gonna have you download it, and you're gonna have this message here that says can't scan a file for viruses. There's no problem with it, just because it exceeds the maximum file size. So literally just do download anyway. Wait for it to download. Once it's done downloading, you're just going to go ahead and open it up and launch it. And once it's launched, wait for it to compute the spacing requirement. You're going to hit next. Because I already have it installed, then it's not going to let me to further it. But if you're installing it for the first time, you're going to hit next to install. Or if you're updating to a new version, which you will have that pop up on your Maestro screen when you load it up, then you'll basically do it the same way. I'll take you to the Google Drive, you'll download it, and if it's an update, it'll ask you can fully install it. But I have the most recent one updated. Once you've updated, you're good to go at this point. So you would have learned in a previous class on how to get MIDI files. Well, we're going to take one of those MIDI files and use them as an example. So for instance, in here, we got a couple MIDI files. Now remember, you can use MIDI files, ABC files, karaoke files, but we're going to use a MIDI file here. And so right now, if you notice the symbol here, if you right click it, you're going to have a couple options of being able to open it up. If we were to double click it, it's going to automatically load it into right up here into Maestro. It's going to automatically load it up. And this is the main screen that you're seeing here. You can see right up here, if you remember inside of learning about the ABC anatomy, here's the title, which you can edit. The composer goes here. The transcriber, which would be you, would go here. Down at the bottom, transpose refers to being able to bring it up octaves or bring it down octaves based off of what you're already, what the base MIDI here. If you're not experienced in it, if you're new with a Maestro, keep it the way it is. You got the tempo here. I recommend keeping it the way it is. Tempo is basically the beats of the music, and then you have the meter. Keep the default here if you're not experienced. Again, later classes, we're going to go into more detail on it. But this is basically what we're looking at. Before you kind of convert this into music, especially if you are launching this for the very first time, you're going to want to set this up. Now, for those of you, if you're not part of a band or if you're not trying to set it up to be able to configure with a lot of the different templates or standards that we have in the LOTRO community, then you don't need to do a quote-unquote setup. But for those of you who's part of a band in LOTRO, who wants to use some of the standard setups that we have in the community, then this is where you want to do your setup. If you go up here to Tools, Options, first thing you're going to notice here is the ABC part numbering. This system here is the one that was originally set up by the Lonely Mountain Band. It creates a standard where the first entrant, say for instrument for, say, basic harp, let's start with a part number of 21. If you refer back to understanding ABC files and being able to play ABC music, being able to use songbook, well, these numbers correspond to the particular instruments. Now, that's what if you have more than one basic harp? Well, that's why we have the increment here set to 1. So just like you've learned previously, any increment of a same instrument in the same piece of music will go up by 1. So the first harp will be part number 21. Second harp will be part number 22 and 23 and 24. And if you set it up this way, set it up to increment by 1, then it will do it all automatically. So feel free to take a screenshot here if you want to see the list of like the standard setup. If you want to follow this, one of the standards. Obviously, there's multiple different standards out there, but this is one of the common standards from the Lonely Mountain Band. Now, if you go into ABC part naming, again, this is all your own personal preference. And if you notice here, the variable name, you can basically set it up the way you want it. The way I like to do it is basically have it as a song title and then the part name. And that means if you have multiple different parts, it's going to say the same song title, but then the like say lute 1, lute 2, lute 3. It's still going to kind of use that same progression. But and so you can kind of choose whatever is your best setup. Now the file naming, you can kind of set up the way you want it. But one of the standards that's out there, again, I kind of pull off of the Lonely Mountain Band, and again, you can do it any way that you want to, would be, and you can obviously, here's the variables to choose how you want to do it. But if you do right here, first I would say recommend unclicking the 0 pad part, which means if like the first part here is indicating the part number, or the part count, like number of parts in the whole song, like if it's a 5-part song, then this right here, unclicking this will turn, if you notice here, if that is checked, then this, if this is a 5-part song, then this will show as 05. But if you unclick that, it would just, if you see it right here, it'll show it as 05, but we want to unclick that, keep it as 5. And then I add a dash, and then in parentheses, I put the 3 digits, or 3 letters of my name, FOR, as the transcriber. And then the song title. So if, as an example, you can see it right here, 5 dash, and then 4, and then the example of song title. Again, you can do it the way you want to, but this is kind of like one of the standards that are up. And then instrument names, I would not touch, unless you have a particular reason to, I would recommend not changing the names. Because again, these are standard names and they help prevent any issues in the future. But again, if you choose to, you can always make those changes. And then here in save, I would say, keep it pretty much as the default. And so that way, but here you can prompt to save a new Maestro project, always prompt for the ABC file name when exporting. And I would say keep that on, so that way you can double check the name. That way it kind of catches you. Maybe the name's being saved as wrong. And then once you got that, you hit save. But if you come over in the MISC, there's different things here. Like if you want to have check for updates for Maestro, you can keep this toggled. The rest of this, you can obviously change the fonts, the range, and all that. And so these are the recommendations. I will include this exported file. If you want to have your part numbering system standard, I'll export this file, and I will include it in the written course information as well. And that way, if you want to import it and have the same numbering system, and that'll kind of keep it easy for you. So once you kind of have that all set up, you're ready to go. Now, the important part, because the next part is assigning Lord of the Rings instruments to real life instruments. The main thing you're going to want to do here is don't focus solely on matching one-to-one to the correct instrument, because there's a wide range differences of Lord of the Rings music and real music. Use your ears. Find the instrument that best matches either what the original song is, or if you want to try to change it to your own needs. For instance, and a lot of the times they are one-to-one, but a lot of these things, such as electric guitars and synthesizers, you have to use your ears. Right down here, you can hear the original MIDI file. And if you hit play, and so then once you assign a instrument to a track from the MIDI, then you'll be able to change to the ABC preview and be able to hear what the ABC sound is. So let's go one-to-one. You know, the best way to figure out the best way to sound is by listening and doing. So for the first part, we got a flute here. I mean, honestly, intuition is, let's do the flute, right? So here, we got the part number, and see how it's already assigning the part number? But Lute of Ages, you come up here to the lute, and you find the flute. Right there. So, and then you click right here to assign it. Now, what I always do is that now you can click down here where it says ABC preview, and I always preview the sound. Does it sound similar to what it should be, and does it sound good? And so far that sounds good. So now we go to the next one, a pizzicato strings. I believe this is here. Let's look at it's here the instrument. We can kind of hear what type of instrument this is. So it's being strung. So initially, it feels like it's not going to be a plucking violin. I'm going to try for a violin. It's a string instrument, right? And now we have violins. So you first want to hit new part. You want to assign that part, and I'm going to assign an individual instrument as much as I can to every single one of these to begin with, and then I'll kind of help you kind of negotiate, how you might combine the stuff to have like smaller parts, total parts. But we're going to go with it's a stringing instrument. It's a bowed instrument. We are long strokes, and so experimentation is pretty much what you want to do. See which one sounds the best. You want to have a strong instrument. The sprightly, for instance, you'll hear. Oh, let me change it to ABC. My bad. If you notice, the sprightly is more plucking. You're plucking the strings. So obviously, that's not going to be the instrument that you want. Some of the good strong instrument you want to use is the bardic. Let's hear what the bardic sounds like. So far, that actually sounds very close. Let's test the Lonely Mountain. So you notice this is a lower pitch versus the bardic is a higher pitch. So if you're wanting to match the MIDI file, which is a higher pitch. So based off of those two, and I want to double check on one of the other ones here. We got the student. Let's try the basic. ABC file. Make sure to convert it. See, it's a lower pitch. I'm thinking we want to go with the bardic. All right, there we go. There's our part 2. Now we're going to go into the vibraphone. This is where it gets interesting, because now you're going to try to find the best instrument for the best part. So let's listen to it as the MIDI. So I'm thinking the vibraphone. I think that the vibraphone is like the metal drums, I think, if I remember right. But it still like, because it's using the, when you hit it, you hear the vibration. So it's using. It sounds metal. I don't know. I mean, let's see what drum does. So you new part, select it, come down here. I want to see. I'm still thinking maybe a bowstring because there's sustained sounds, but let's double check with the drums here to see how it sounds. Yeah. No drums. Maybe that's where we go with our Lonely Mountain on this one, since it sounds a little different. You can tell the difference between the two. Now, my question is this a higher pitch or lower, or higher or lower pitch? Oh, see, boom, 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 boom. Oh, so it is the ding, 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 dings. So that changes things a little bit, because now we have. Ooh, does a drum give us that metal sound? Oops, I'll make sure it's ABC. Nope, it's not the drum. So we're, again, this is all about experimentation. What about the more cowbell? No. But we'd have the new bell, the jaunty hand knells. I haven't used it a lot yet. Ooh. But it's also not counting the other stuff. Let's hold that one there for now, because we have all these other instruments to play as it's going. Potential, right? Again, it's all about experimentation and finding the best sound for what you're trying to get. So, synthesizer. Oh boy. If you notice here, probably the synthesizer only has a few bars of music. We got here and probably over here. The best thing is to hear what sound it's doing. And this might be a good example of determining whether or not you're gonna combine it with an existing sound, existing instrument. So let's hear what it sounds like. Oh, see, it's more than you expect. See, it's right over here. Most of what you're hearing right here, it's just all this right here. What if we add it to the jaunty? I mean, well, let's hear. I mean, this is, you combine it. Basically, you select the thing and you select multiple instruments. And again, try to do it where you're not overlapping a lot of the music. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you try to do the best you can. So, now the church organ. A lot of times the organ sounds good with like bagpipes, the horn. So let's hear, let's first add our part. Let's hear what it sounds like as a MIDI. We need to get to here. It's not sustaining, right? Maybe it is sustaining because you're pressing. It might have to be a horn, right? But not a very heavy horn, right? So let's select it. Oops, make sure to add a new part. Okay, this is it right here. Oh, this part right here. Oop. Oh, that was the new one. We can select this one. We're going to select the horn or the organ. Now we're going to try the lute. Nope, you can't really hear it. So let's try with a basic horn. Oops, I got an ABC file. Okay, it's not bad. That sound you're hearing there. Okay, it's not too bad. I want to hear what the bassoon sounds like. Or even the clarinet. Let's try the clarinet. Sounds not bad. What you're hearing in the right side of your ear, that's the clarinet. We're gonna have to think of that, right? I'm gonna keep it there for now. Now we're gonna jump to this music box. It's this over here. Let's see what the MIDI sounds like. It's plucking, but it's a ringing. Higher pitch. I mean, maybe what about a lute? Lute of Ages. Okay, but we need a higher pitch, right? Based off of our sound. So I usually like to go up to a harp. Try the Misty Mountain harp on this. Oh, that sounds actually interesting. Okay. Sounds kind of interesting. Okay, okay. Now let's go ahead and move on to this this square wave. What does that sound like? Sustain. But it's a higher pitched sound. With slightly sustaining. Oops, I need to make sure. Select the part. Oh, it's a plucky. One's plucking. Let's go with our Lonely Mountain again. Is the flute even going? Well, I guess it is. Is that really the fiddle? Oh, it's because I don't have it selected. That's why. There we go. Hear it? It's not high pitch enough. Maybe the bagpipe. Maybe this is actually the time for a bagpipe. It's going to be in our woodwinds. Let's try this bagpipe. I want to hear what this sounds like. It sounds whiny. It's still, maybe that's drums. Because I'm going to try the drums here. It's not the right kind of drums. Maybe it's the new nail. Maybe it's time for the hand nails. I have nails already. I already have nails. Okay, what's the other nails being used as? These two combined. Okay. Maybe? There's something missing. Try the fiddle again. Maybe we have to go with this Lonely Mountain Fiddle. Okay, let's try that for now. And now we're going to go into our new part here. The steel drums here, I'm thinking probably going to be good with drums. Okay, now I want to hear the Calliope. Yeah, the sustain. That might be other. That's it's hard to tell the difference. Again, all this you're experimenting with sound. So let's select this here. Let's clarinet. It gives the higher pitch, sustaining. Hey, it's actually not bad. So that is basically covering the whole sync there. At this point, and I like to the Carol of the Bells. Who's the composer of the Carol of the Bells? I'll double check. Composer. I'm gonna get his name here. You always want to be accurate with this stuff, right? Now you just come down here, export. Now see, it automatically stores how many parts there are. I need to change this because it needs to be lowercase. And then you save. It's best not to have spaces. I might have to check the settings to have it automatically not have spaces, and then you just save it. So that was a complete song. We've gone through kind of giving you the overlay of what it is, how to use Maestro, how to set it up, how to transcribe one of the MIDIs. Now, the trying to condense them down to smaller parts are the difficult, because when you are adding like right here, I'm using 2 clarinets for 2 different parts. I mean, the notes are basically the same if you look at kind of compare them. So you could potentially combine them, such as if I click here, click the second one over here, come over here, and then come up here to delete. Now it makes 1 less. So you can test it, see if it sounds too much. Which really doesn't. I mean, it's for the most part, I mean, it's almost exactly the same except for this gap here and this little section here. So that's an example of combining one of them. And you can kind of do some of the other similar ones or using the same similar instruments. I mean, I guess that actually might just be it, because you don't have any other similar instruments that you can combine in. So this one, you kind of do the same thing, export. You'll automatically do it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know why it didn't. Oh, because it's doing the total parts. The 7-parter. Oops. 7-parter. And you save it. There it is. That's it. So that kind of gives you the overlay of kind of how to find Maestro, how to set it up, how to kind of decide and experiment with assigning instruments based off of not just one-to-one instrument to instrument, but sound. Because that's the key point, because LOTRO music might not always sound the same, and there are instruments in LOTRO that could be paired with instruments in real life. It's always best to listen to the sound, find the one that best matches the sound. So that's it for our course here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Let me know in our Discord channel, Forte's Academy of Music. And I will be seeing you on the next class.